Okay, so today is June 20th, 2019. It has been another week. Where am I this week and what am I doing? Well, my life right now revolves entirely around my thesis. I'm not doing a very good job of focusing on it, but I'm at least trying. So, in my thesis right now, I'm focused on a mesh analysis of my wind tower. And what I'm finding is that my wind tower, I had not simulated it 100% to completion. I had gotten sort of a convergence, but it was sort of a false convergence where it settled on a value for like, I don't know, 500 iterations, and then it changed to a different value. But it was a very, very slow change for a very long time. So my convergence criteria that I had set were met. And when I inspected it visually, it looked like it was done. So yeah, repeating it this summer with kind of a more critical eye and more time to make sure that everything is completely right, because something looked odd. I did my convergence for one value, and then I did my convergence for the next one, and they didn't quite match. But then I did it for the next one. So I've got 9 million, 17 million, and 40 million in my mesh, or something like that. And 9 million was closer to 40 million than the 17 million. And that didn't make sense. So that's why I decided to turn my convergence criteria off and just do it visually, manually. Be like, that's converged, or that's not converged yet. And so that worked better. I guess we learn a little bit more every day. But I got to meet with Dr. Goodarzi technically yesterday on Wednesday to discuss my schedule. We hadn't met yet, and I was really concerned about that. But I had set a schedule and I thought I was making decently okay progress. Professor set me up with another schedule, which was close to what I'd already set up. His was much more general, and it's mostly okay. I mean, we're kind of aiming at the same thing, and the big surprise for him was that I did not have as much time as he thought I had. I'm supposed to graduate in summer too, and that would be in August. He, for some reason, thought I would be able to continue working into the fall, like even as late as September. I was like, no, no, I'm graduating this summer. This summer. That's what I'm paying for. That's when I'm finishing. I have to defend by July 26th. So that was exciting because he thought I had a lot more time and I don't. But I'm making progress. I got my chapter 2 more or less done. I think it's done, but after I finish everything else, I might go back and rewrite it again. But, let's finish everything because we don't want to spend all of our time on the boring parts of our thesis. That was something I remember reading in one of these thesis writing or hearing in one of these thesis writing YouTube videos is your most interesting work is usually at the end. Don't spend all of your time on the introduction that doesn't really matter and isn't your work. So I'm trying to focus on the things that are important. But sometimes I wonder if the professor is pulling my leg or if he's making me grow by explaining myself, because sometimes I don't explain myself well. It's one of my personal obstacles that I need to overcome as an engineer, because just because I'm very confident in something, if I can't articulate exactly why something is the way it is, then it's a problem. And I need to be able to do it on the spot. And especially with this project being my project, that's important. For example, the professor asked me about my choice of turbine blade, and of course I'm at home recording. I've had ample time to think about it. So now I'm like, oh yeah, my turbine, I was kind of sort of designing them in my old jet propulsion class. We talked about maximizing thrust, and thrust is maximized when you have momentum thrust as opposed to pressure thrust, and blah 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 blah. And so that was, that's what goes in my paper. And but that is not what I was able to tell him today. I'm like, it's because I believe it's best, and that is a bullshit answer. I mean, it's true, and but it's not the answer I need to be giving. It can't just, planes don't fly on faith. So we've got to tighten up my ability to defend my decisions, even though that's a really pain in the butt thing to do. But what I need to do, and since we're not actually physically building it, which would be fun, then I can't just point at it and say, see, it works. Shut up. Yeah, even things like, why are we doing this one? Well, because the other one's not good. We were even disagreeing about wind roses, and I'm like, just because the prevailing winds come from one particular direction predominantly doesn't mean that's the whole picture. Like, it can change throughout the year, and most places in the world have seasonal changes, very significant seasonal changes. And that's one of the reasons that the two-sided tower was what we kind of went with. We didn't want just one side, in addition to that not being something that was explored. But yeah, the professor, he was he asked me why I didn't change the nozzle shape and this and that, and what if we do this, and well, if we're going to do that, then we would have just had a one-sided turbine or a one-sided tower. So that's not what we're doing. But I need to be able to justify those decisions and statements and arguments. So most places in the world have wind that comes from two directions, and I'm right, and now I need to prove it. But anyway, I'm making progress. I'm talking to literally everybody, including you guys, about my thesis right now. And hopefully I will be able to finish this the way I think I will, because I've got to get done. But it's late, I'm tired, and we're going to bed.